Hi, Catherine here with Handmade by Circle Art Designs. Today on my work table, I am working on an Ammonite pendant on a leather and gemstone necklace. Now, I have done one of these leather and gemstone necklaces recently, but my daughter gifted me with this pendant last week. And I loved it, and I thought of the beads in the June Bargain Bead Box. So this is a June Bargain Bead Box piece, and I thought they will match perfectly together. So, with that said, let's turn our eyes to the mat. So, what am I simply grateful for today? Well, I was thinking about that, you to know that we got our water sprinkler system fixed day before yesterday. And I am so grateful to the Lord for that sprinkler system to be fixed, because my husband was having to go out and move our little sprinkler all over the yard, trying to get enough water on it to keep the grass from completely dying in the Texas heat. And we have been trying for over a month to get someone out here to fix it. And I am so grateful to the Lord for the man that He sent our way. He was such a blessing. Thank you for being so faithful, Father. I am truly simply grateful. Now, what are you simply grateful for today? All right, let's go ahead and put our blue mat down. I love my blue mat. And I'm going to put the pin on there, I'm hoping. Maybe. Excuse me, had to clear my throat. All right, let's go ahead and pull this up so it's in the right place. I'm going to measure now that I've got it up a little bit. I do everything on about a 1.7 magnifier so you can see what's going on. That looks like the middle. I think I am ready to start showing you what I'm going to work with this time. All right. Here is everything that I am going to be using for this necklace. Now, you might be saying, how could this be part of the June Bargain Bead Box? But it is, because I'm using those beads. Now, this is a beautiful Ammonite pendant. Isn't that gorgeous? I just loved it. When she brought this home and said, "Mom, I've got something for you," I was so surprised. Now, on the back, that's part of the rock that it was originally in. There you go. You can see it kind of. But if you move it around on the back, you get that beautiful rainbow shine on it because of the outer shell look. Now, these are from the Bargain Bead Box. They are the 8mm Maifanite round beads, and they call them in a teal. I would call this a teal green. I've used it in some other things, but it is going to be gorgeous in this piece. I have also pulled out some of the round white freshwater pearls. I thought they would really look beautiful with the Maifanite and that Ammonite pendant. And so I just love these. Now, the thing with the pearls is make sure you're using a wire that will go through those little bitty holes they put in those pearls. And I did. I think I used a 0.45. Then you're going to need a clasp of some kind. I'm using an extender on this. And I have also pulled out some wire guards and some number 2 tube crimps. I decided to use the tubes on those. I've also pulled out some of my 3mm silver spacer balls. And I have got some of these beautiful little silver daisy spacers. I am almost out of these. I'm going to have to order some more. But I just love them. The original ones I got off of Amazon came in 4 different sizes. But they're no longer available, so I have to find another source. Yes, it's a 0.45 millimeter, and I'm doing it in the silver beading wire. Also, I have pulled out a light tan suede leather strip to use for the back. And I will be using some of the glue-on end caps for the leather. And that's everything I'm going to need, except some 11/0 seed beads I go ahead and decide to put in. But I'll show you whenever I pull them out. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a length of the beading wire. I am not going to cut it until I get the piece beaded, because sometime that way I can add, or I can subtract to the length that I want in the center of my necklace. So the first thing I'm doing is putting on a tube crimp, and then I'm going to put on some of the silver spacer balls. And the reason I do that is because I like to hide the wire. Now remember, I said I wasn't cutting this wire, so I have to go ahead and put on, well, I don't have to, I guess, but I do, what I'm going to use to finish it off on the other end. And now I'm going to start building up. Now, right about here, I'm trying to decide, what do I want to put on first? So I'm going to take, and one of the silver pearls, maybe not. Okay, this is how I decide I'm going to lay it out. Pearl, Maifanite, pearl. I'm going to add the spacers between the pearls, just like that. And spacer balls between the Maifanite and then the end cap, the daisy spacers again. So it's daisy spacer pearl. We're going to put that on just like that. Daisy spacer. And so it'll look daisy spacer, pearl, daisy spacer. Now then, I have decided I need something to help this along. So these are the Toho, and they're 11/0 crystal silver lined seed beads. And so that's what I'm going to add to this. It'll give it a little bit of shine, a little bit of space, so it doesn't look cramped up. I'm one of those. I think that people that can wear beads all together, the big beads, are just gorgeous. But I like a more delicate look for myself. And that's usually what I put in my shop. So, again, let me get this started. I am putting 3 seed beads between the spacer ball. So it'd be 3 seed beads, spacer ball, the Maifanite, the spacer ball, the Maifanite, 3 seed beads, a pearl, and 3 seed beads. Let me get a screenshot of that and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, starting off on the right hand side of the picture, we're going to do a daisy spacer, a freshwater pearl, and a daisy spacer. Then we're going to put on 3 of the crystal silver lined Toho seed beads in an 11/0. Then we're going to do a spacer ball, the Maifanite, a spacer ball, and the Maifanite. Then we're going to do another spacer ball. So it's spacer, Maifanite, and spacer. Then we're going to put on 3 of the 11/0 seed beads and a daisy spacer, a pearl, and a daisy spacer. Then 3 more of the 11/0s and a spacer ball, the Maifanite, the 8mm bead, whatever you're using, the spacer, a bead, and the spacer. Then we'll start off again with 3 of the crystal silver lined seed beads. All right, starting off at that point again, This is the pattern that we're using. We have just finished up with the freshwater pearl and the daisy spacer at the end. So what will we start with? The seed beads. Now then, for the seed beads, we're going to put on, I'm sorry, I sound like I swallowed a frog today. We're going to put on 3 of the 11-0 crystal seed beads. Then we're going to put on a spacer ball because in the pattern, we are now ready for that 8mm bead. And I am using the Maifanite on that from the June Bargain Bead Box. And then I'm going to put on another spacer ball. And then I'm going to put on another of the 8mm Maifanite and a spacer ball. And I will finish this off with 3 of the crystal silver lined 11-0 seed beads from Toho. Now, we will continue this pattern till I get to the middle. I can tell you, using the things that I used, I had to use a total of 3 sets of the Maifanite from the June Bargain Bead Box. So I have 1 to go, and I'll see you whenever I get to the middle. But before I go, would you please like this video and leave a comment? And if you haven't already, would you subscribe and click that notification button? It helps you to be notified when I put new content up, be it one of these or one of the shorts. And if you share, that would be amazing. All these things help this video and my channel to get out before other people. And I really would appreciate your help on this. Thank you so much. And we are back, and it's time to put on this beautiful pendant. I am so blessed to have a daughter that will go out shopping and go, "Oh, Mom will love this." So I was checking on the bell that came with this pendant to make sure that it was on the right direction. If it wasn't, I would have to take it off and do it again. Now, I have ended with the freshwater pearl and 3 of the 11-0 seed beads. I'm going to go ahead and add another 3 seed beads. The reason I do this is I'm going to have to put on the pendant, but I could take the bell off, but I'm going to leave it attached, and I'm going to put it on, and I want it to ride over the top of those seed beads. That way, boy, the frog is persistent today. That way, I will have something to protect the beading wire when that pendant moves back and forth in the space that I have allotted it. And I don't want it to be real tight. I want the movement like you would have on a chain necklace. Now, once I get the pendant on, I'm going to start again with the daisy spacer, the freshwater pearl, and a daisy spacer. And that's what the center of that necklace is going to look like. And now I am going to go ahead and build this up, matching one side to the other side. And when I get there and we're ready to finish this part off, I will meet you back here. We don't want this to get too long. Be right back. All right, we have come to the end of our necklace, and I have finished off with those 3 11-0 seed beads. And so I have got the 3 sets. My pearls and my Maifanite match on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and put on 2 of the spacer balls. I put these spacer balls on so I can move wire through it. It will not go through the 11-0s a second time. Maybe if I used a much thinner wire, but then I would be afraid the weight of the pendant and the beads would break it. So once I have got that on, I'm going to put on my tube crimp, and then I am going, come on, come down there where it is. Okay, yes, I'm going to put on my wire guard. And again, the wire guard is to protect the wire itself. These are the crimp. my crimp tools. It has a large half circle in the back, just right there. And we're going to do that circle first with the little M crimp on the other side. Then we're going to turn it a half turn and do the smaller half circle on the front to mash the M together. So to take the crimping tool, first I have to get on my wire guard. This is an upside down U. You'll put it through the tube on one side, go around the top, put it on the tube on the other side. And you do not have to use a wire guard, but for something that I know will get a lot of wear, I make sure I put a wire guard on to protect that wire, just like I put the 11/0s on to protect the wire. Now I have moved my spacer balls up to catch the two wires that have gone through the crimp. Make sure your wires sit side by side and aren't twisted. And once that is done, then I am going to pull that wire all the way down till it touches the 11/0s that I have finished off my necklace with. Oh, did I do that? I did. Okay. So I'm putting it in the back. I'm crimping it just like that. And you get that little lovely M. Can you see that M? I really like the M. Oh, I know why I didn't pull it. I still have the other side. I'm moving everything down. Okay, then I'm putting it in the front with a half turn, just like that. And I am crimping so that the M comes together. And especially when you're using tube beads, you want to make sure you go all the way up and down that tube so that it is really caught. Now that I can take my flush cutters and go ahead and cut this wire off right even with that a spacer ball. You want the flat side to go up against your spacer ball, and I'm going to take mine and I'm going to bend it out just a little bit so there's no chance of cutting that beading wire. And there you have, come on Catherine, oop, I dropped it. And there you have, once I get my beads moved down, your first crimp. And then I will go ahead and do the other side. Now this side, I remember I haven't cut the wire. I also changed up the end just a little bit on this one, so I will have to take it off, add the seed beads on that side so that it matches. So I'm going to cut this. Let's check and make sure it matches, and it doesn't because I had decided to use the seed beads when I put that on. And so I'm going to go ahead and put 3 of the seed beads on, my 2 spacer balls, my crimp. And then I'm going to put on the wire guard and crimp it down. So let's get this held. Let's go ahead and get my crimp on. Oh, nope, I'm still putting on the 2 spacer balls. I've had so much fun doing this necklace today. There's still another part to this necklace before it's finished. Now you could do this beading all the way down, but I really like the look of the leather with the beads. And so I will go ahead and I will show you how to add the leather to this. I also, at the back of this, I have a little section of a couple of pieces I have put together that my daughter made me years ago. It was when she was first beading, and she put it on what we consider a substantial stretch cord because she had bought some necklaces that were on stretch cord. But I have worn them a lot, and over the years, both of them have broken, and I've lost about half the beads, and so I had put them in a little sack. And when I was doing this one, I thought of them, and so I took each one out of its little sack and I restrung it, and I will show you the finished product to give you some ideas of all the wonderful things you can do with this type of necklace. And there you have the centerpiece. I'm going to go ahead and crimp it I made sure that it wasn't too tight, and that's very important. Make sure that your necklace will bend and move. Otherwise, it will buckle when you wear it, and it will not be pretty. So I put it in the back. I've crimped it. I'm crimping up and down the tube. I'm going to turn it a half a turn. I'm looking to make sure it looks right. Then I'm putting it up in the front. Looks right means there's a wire on each side of that M. And then I crimped it together. I'm checking to make sure that I got it right. If you twisted the wires when you pull on it like that, it'll come off. I can guarantee it. Ask me how I know. I had a lot of practice re-crimping whenever I first started. All right, and that is the center of the necklace. And as I said, you could do this all the way around, but I am doing a 28-inch necklace with a drop. It will be 30. And here's that centerpiece finished. Isn't that pretty? All right, so now I have taken these tan pieces. I've measured out my centerpiece, decided how long I wanted the necklace to be finished at, and cut dividing that the leftover by 2. I cut 2 pieces, and now I'm going to put the ends on it. I use a combination of super glue and Gorilla Glue. Now I have tried both types, the round that I pulled out and the flat. For this necklace, I think I'm going to go ahead and do the flat. It's a little bit too big, but with the Gorilla Glue and the super glue, it will hold and I won't have any worries about it coming out. And this is the super glue gel. It gives you a little bit longer to play with your piece before it holds. And then the Gorilla Glue, you really need to dry 24 hours. So I put the tube in and I just put a dollop of the super glue. I'll go ahead and put in the, let me get the cap on before it squirts all over everything. That's another thing. I need the gel because I'm slow. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the center, just like that. And once this has an opportunity to set a little bit, I will go back in with a toothpick and add a little bit of the Gorilla Glue in the empty spaces. And now I'm going to let it dry. Now again, once it's had time to set up, you are going to want to go in with the Gorilla Glue and a toothpick and put just a little bit in the empty spaces between the metal and the leather. And so again, I'm putting this on and I will set and let it dry. It doesn't take long, about 10 or 15 minutes to really set up. And make sure that you've got your ends all facing the same way. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other side. And when I get that finished, I will be back. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and take a toothpick, a little dab of my Gorilla Glue, put the cap on because I don't know why, but it just keeps squirting out. Then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to, I hope I got no, I didn't. What I'm doing is I'm taking my toothpick and I'm putting just a little bit in the space where it doesn't quite touch. It's touched at the bottom where the super glue is, but I want to make sure that I get that in that space so that it has a complete close on it. And I'm going to do this on all the ends, and then it will be ready to put our piece together. So again, put a little dollop in. I'm putting that toothpick right into that hollow space, making sure the Gorilla Glue fills it out and it'll be able to grab on the top. I'm going to let them dry and I'll be back and ready to put the necklace together. And we are back. Now, isn't that pretty? These are going to be beautiful. Look at that leather. It is the same color that is in the pendant, and I really like it. I've tested all the ends. They're all the same direction. They are all ready to go. I have got my oval jump rings that I'm going to be putting these on with. And I've got my extender and my lobster claw. Now this is just a matter of opening your jump rings and putting your ends on. So let's see if I can't get this out of the way. Position this where you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to lay it out so that I know which way it's all going. And it should be just like that. So using two pair of chain nose pliers, I'm going to take my oval jump ring, making sure the slit is up. Then I'm going to hold it, twist with one wrist. Remember, you don't want to put strain on the metal on this jump ring. You don't want to weaken this jump ring. So only twist one wrist, and please never pull it. That really, really does a number on the jump rings. Okay, I've put on my wire guard, and now I've put on the end of the leather, and we have got one side ready to go. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to hold it between two chain nose pliers. We're going to twist with one wrist. We're going to put on the wire guard and then the leather. I like to try to be consistent so that when it matters, I will have consistency built in as a habit. Making sure that that's closed. I keep feeling the top to make sure there's no rough spots, and it really is closed. And we have the necklace together. Like I said, this will be a 28-inch necklace, and then it will have an extender chain on it. That way, if I'm wearing something where I want it to hang just a little lower, I have that option. All right, opening up this again, I'm going to put on the leather this time because I am putting on the lobster claw. Make sure your lobster claw opens and closes before you put it on your piece. Putting it on the jump ring. Oh, I've gotten off because this is so long. I went ahead and closed it between two chain nose pliers, that jump ring, making sure that it's closed. And my lobster claw, as soon as I really get this closed, let's see here. I am holding it on the inside and wiggling it because it was just slightly under in the oval. And so it did not fit. My voice is going today. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to take some Benadryl. All right. Again, so I am taking and I am opening up that chain. What I have done is I put my lobster claw on backwards. And I'm having to put it on again. Do you ever do that? If you make jewelry, I go to all this trouble and I think, oh yes, I've got it. I've got it. And then I lay it on the mat and look at it and I don't got it. All right. So I'm making sure it's closed, and then I'm going to lay it on the mat, make sure it's on the right place, and it is. And then we'll go to the next side. Okay. For the next side, I'm going to open up the jump ring again. Oop, picked up the wrong thing. Making sure I hold it between two pliers, and I'm going to twist one wrist. Then I'm going to put on my leather. Then I'm going to put on the extender chain, just like that. Taking my chain nose pliers again, I'm going to twist one wrist, if I can get it. There you go. I don't know why I twist with the left when I open and twist with the right when I close, but I do, and I'm consistent with it. So these are the finished ends. I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to go ahead and close it. Come on, just like that. I have to tell you, I've already worn this piece twice. It is a beautiful piece to wear. With the leather as opposed to beads all around, it has a nice light weight to it, and it is just gorgeous. The freshwater pearls with that beautiful ammonite pendant and the Maifanite beads are just gorgeous. It makes an amazing set. All right, I was trying to decide if I wanted to put a charm on the back, and I decided I did not, because with my hair, you are not ever going to see that charm. So here you go. That is the finished piece. I want to thank you so much for joining me today in this beading adventure. It is just gorgeous. I've had a wonderful time, even with the frog in my voice. I have had so much fun sharing with you. I loved designing this necklace, and I think it is a stunning piece. This one is not up in the shop because it was a gift from my daughter, and I am enjoying wearing it. I do have something similar up in the shop, not with Ammonite, but I have put up some leather pieces that are beads and leathers. And here is on my heart. I love my heart. But after these pictures, I have something else to share with you. And that will be taking some cherished but broken things and making them new. This is the pendant, one of the pendants my daughter made me. It is just lovely. It has that beautiful bear totem on the bottom, and I love it. I was so glad that when this thing dropped, I was able to save at least half of the beads. And this is the very first piece she ever made me. And again, I was able to save part of the beads and add the leather. I hope this gives you some ideas of things you might do, maybe with broken pieces, maybe with bits and pieces in your own stash, but these make amazing necklaces. Again, thank you for joining me today. God bless you, and I'll see you later in the week. Catherine, handmade by Circle Art Designs.